Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 cast, and there is a bot, but we've also got a human here today. As starting off what may be a new series, we're going to be having humans versus bots, other than myself playing the bots, so we're going to get to see some wacky human play, hopefully against some wacky bot play. And in the bottom right, we have got Caninana, a Zerg bot, one of the top macro Zergs, well, arguably the top macro Zerg with the best late game. And then we have got Cognite, a apparent Protoss player. He didn't mention what rank he was, but maybe we can try and guess based off the level of play we see here today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If you like the idea of this human versus bot series, yeah, click that like button, leave a comment down below saying more bots, more humans, whatever it may be, as we're going to be seeing Cognite get his StarCraft skills tested. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you yourself would like to play versus these bots, feel free to join the Discord, which is linked down below. There's a link in the Discord on how to play versus the bots. It's fairly straightforward. An amazing app was made by Crypt, I believe it was, and then an amazing guide by the Versus AI guys, formerly ES Champ, but they also organize pro bots. And so yeah, if you want me to cast your game against these bots, feel free to send in the replays. Now, we do have Cognite going for a probe scout. That probe is running for its life. And yeah, that Ling is chasing it down for Caninana, so sending out the scouting Lings. Let's see, I can never remember what the APM key is. So we've got a human with an average of 174 APM taking on a bot with almost 1100 APM. And yeah, not that APM is indicative of skill or anything, but if Cognite's APM was, say, like 10 or something, we'd be like, oh dear, he may just have started StarCraft for the first time. This doesn't seem to be the case, though. He's got a good wall going up, a Stargate on the way, so doing a very common Protoss build. Caninana is scouting this out, and it is mining away. I'm just curious if speed mining is enabled for Caninana in this match or not. It doesn't look like it, I want to say. I think Caninana is just on regular mining. Some of the bots do have config settings that you can find to enable or disable speed mining. Personally, I'm a fan of playing or watching them play with speed mining enabled, just because that is their full potential. They're bots, so they have many disadvantages, so I think it's fair to give them that advantage. But I'll actually have to double check on that, how to actually enable that. Now, we do have Burrow on the way for Caninana. The Zerg bot is getting up Ling speed as well. Burrow will be very useful when it comes to defending against this potential harassment of Cognite, as an Oracle's on the way. It looks like an Adept shades behind the Zerg's mineral line and then promptly gets recalled. So Cognite taking that very seriously. Not getting a lot of damage done so far. And we do have Caninana firing up a few roaches. Now, the Zerg bot, Caninana, is known for macroing up quite slowly, safely but slowly. And so we're going to see whether it actually will fall behind, as the Zerg is just getting up its third base without the speed mining. And Cognite already has their third base on the way. So quite a strong economy building up for the Protoss bot. And Caninana is just doing its thing. Got a few safety roaches out, with drones being produced now, which is good. Then a couple of spore crawlers being built. The oracles have not been utilized to harass at all really so far. Now they're starting to move across the map. Now we'll see whether Cognite is going to be able to kill these drones, or whether Caninana will just promptly burrow them if they face danger. There is two queens that seem to be, or sensing these oracles are out there. And that Spore Crawler is done. So I think Caninana is actually set up quite well to defend against this Oracle shenanigans. In come the Oracles. The drones promptly burrow. And Cognite's like, oh, okay. You could always drop a Revelation. However, you probably want to drop the Revelation to grab those drones before you get in range of the Spore, just to maximize efficiency. But Caninana had a quick reaction too with all of those queens. Looks like these Oracles are flying on in once more. They are going to find a nice little angle. Does grab one drone. Queens are shooting at the Oracles, though. They barely get on out of there. Meanwhile, Cognite is doing quite a good job of macroing during this chaos. Not floating too much money, 500 minerals. Can't say I'd have less than that. And then we do have Blink actually on the way for the Protoss player. I almost said Protoss bot, as Cognite is doing their thing. And of course, big thanks to Cognite for sending in these replays, hopefully the first of many. And it does take a little bit of courage to put yourself out there to be cast. We're going to be seeing a little bit of Oracle harassment. Does Caninana respond to that? Well, it just burrows the drones, and burrow does not save drones from a stasis ward, for those of you that didn't know that. I can't say I'd remember that fact off the top of my head. Oracles are coming on in, so Cognite is doing quite a bit of macro. Meanwhile, Caninana is just facing the harassment. Stasis Ward does get taken out. However, it does pop on 3 of those queens. Caninana is slowly macroing up, just getting up a 4th base. Army supply isn't that good for the Zergbot. Looks like an Oracle may go down. Yes, it does. And the 4th is on the way up. Now, Cognite is looking to get a bit aggressive, accidentally shooting a Stalker there. Oh, called out. And then Cognite just chasing after that Overseer. Caninana is a nuisance with its Overseers, as they are just always everywhere. Very interestingly enough, and very cool, Caninana is making mass lings as a response to seeing those Stalkers, I believe. That's something Caninana does very well, is not... Well, it doesn't make roaches when it's facing immortals and things like that. So it's got a rather dynamic unit composition, so these masslings are going to potentially be enough to deal with these Stalkers. We'll see how well Cognite is going to micro these. Another big warping of Stalkers is coming on in. Caninana is firing up as many lings as it can. However, it is rather behind in the economy. Cognite is just right-clicking on that hatchery, tossing down a stasis ward, but that gets taken out. So not necessarily the best fight. However, Oracles are popping their pulsar beams, so going to start firing on some of these roaches. The Stalkers are being effectively routed, though. Caninana bought itself a bit of room. It's even transfusing that hatchery, getting out some more drones. Now, that being said, the Protoss player still has quite a good economy, quite a nice worker lead, 73 probes, so hopefully we'll see a 4th base at some point. Cognite builds a cannon to actually kill the burrowed ling. It is not easy to expand against these bots with their burrowed lings all over the place. Cognite's cleaned up creep over. Lings are going for a big surround on those Stalkers. Quite a few of them are going to die. He just elects to retreat here. And that is going to be a solid defense by Caninana so far. It's cool. We are getting to see this game go a little bit later, as Caninana is finally going to be surpassing the 50 drone mark. It's been a very slow climb in this game. Lings are harassing the 4th base. Oracles are popping their pulsar beams. Lots of these lings are going to be getting cleaned on up. It is pretty much just lings attacking on in. However, they are actually doing some work. The few roaches are there to help out. One got caught in the stasis ward, but the rest did not. Battery is present, healing up some of these Protoss units. So Cognite is holding on. Caninana is spamming out more lings. We do have an Evo chamber on the way. I'm curious if we'll get to see infestors from the Zerg bot or not. And let's see, +2 attack is just about to finish up for Cognite, so going to have a nice upgrade lead. However, if he's just making Stalkers, that's not necessarily the best. Upgrades don't really help Stalkers too much against mass lings. Now, more probes are being made, more cannons are being built. Cognite is playing this game out very respectfully against Caninana. We do have the Zerg just moving around still. And let's see. Creep is pressing onto that 4th base. Where's the rest of the creep? The answer is it's mainly pushing towards the north. I'm not sure why Caninana hasn't spread any creep towards the south, as it is kind of lacking. However, that machine that machine-like creep will continue to just expand everywhere. We've got changelings running all over the place too. The Zerg bot is now making more and more lings, so it looks like Caninana is looking to get aggressive with a higher army supply than its opponent. The problem is it's going to be up against a couple of Archons now. There's stasis wards, all those cannons. We'll see how effective this is or not. Caninana is going to thinking about going for it, but then changes its mind. That's probably for the best. Lots of spores are now being built for Caninana as it secures up a 5th. Drones being made. +1 attack is on the way to potentially help out these roaches. A ling counterattack gets shut down. And let's see, Psystorm is on the way for Cognite. That's a very strong tool. Caninana is definitely in an aggressive mode right now as it's firing up a few drones, but then it is primarily making a lot of lings and roaches. Psystorm is definitely going to change that, although the lings can definitely be microed out of that, and we'll potentially get to see how well Caninana can dodge those storms. The Zerg bot making a few more drones, getting up another hatchery. So Caninana is, it's kind of like 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out as far as macro and economy goes. Stasis wards getting caught. Meanwhile, the Protoss is still just hanging out. We do have Cognite trying to take a 5th base. No lings were, or the ling that was burrowed there did get cleaned up. Caninana is attacking the 4th base, so going for some very strong harassment. Quite a few probes for the Protoss are dying, and it's a 1-2 punch as lings are coming in towards the building 5th base. They seem a little confused as far as what to attack. He just cancels the Nexus, though. Maybe a bit prematurely, as Caninana is actually focused on going towards the front, although things are rapidly reaching the point of disaster for Cognite, losing many, many probes during this. The Protoss does still have a superior army, it would seem. Caninana did get some good work done there, though. We do have more lings being produced by the Zerg bot, as multiple hit squads are doing their thing right now. Some pylons are getting cleaned on up. Cognite's floating a bit of money. However, this ling harassment has taken its toll, despite the cannons he built at that base. That was just so many lings. The 3rd base is now desolate. And then Caninana is getting up to that infestation pit. I do hope we get to see some Caninana infestors here. Double immortals are being produced for Cognite, which is going to help against the roaches, not so much against the lings, so maybe some Colossus or something would be good. We do have a zealot wall being warped on in for Cognite to defend against this ling harassment that Caninana is still going for. The Zerg bot is on 65 workers. Just on 5 bases for now, getting up that 6th base, actually, pardon me. Static defense being built, Neural Parasite is on the way, lots of upgrades building, but look at that, 4 Archons being made for Cognite. I'm not sure that if Cognite pushes across the map, Caninana will be able to stop it. We do have these lings running all over the place. I'm not sure what is causing them to retreat there, but they are electing to do that, and I gotta say, I'm not sure I've ever seen Caninana really go for multi-prong attacks like this. This is quite something. Lings move in towards that 4th base. The 5th base is still being pressured. We're now seeing infestors be produced. The first Psystorms, I believe, seeing dropped there. And infestors Aspire are on the way for Cognite. Lings are coming on in. He's holding the line. And let's see. Infestors soon to be out. Neural Parasite is on the way. +2 attack is coming out, but Cognite may have had enough. They are moving out onto the map, cleaning up some of this creep. Caninana's army is just ever-presently lurking. Some roaches are moving forward. Lings are charging into Archons, though. That is not the fight Caninana wants, but look at that cinematic ling retreat as they just fanned away, and we're like, nope. The Zerg bot is really falling down on supply right now. And we do have infestors that can potentially drop some spells, but this is a lot of Protoss, and if bots struggle with one thing, it's dealing with big death ball armies. Caninana is really going to be getting tested here. There's queens out on the front lines. However, it's a 3-1 Protoss army against just a 1-1 Zerg force. And yeah, Caninana is really in quite a bit of trouble now. There is a fungal that caught quite a few of the immortals, and Neural Parasite's going to take an Archon. However, that infestor gets taken out. Good blink by Cognite. And the Zerg bot is just really struggling with dealing with this death ball. There's some more infestors out there. However, that one's potentially going to get caught. Fortunately, there is no observer to actually catch and kill it. Cognite is transitioning. Stargate on the way. Immortal is on the way. And the natural of Caninana has been broken. So things are looking quite well for Cognite right now, as Caninana is just struggling to muster a defense. The High Templars and Immortals are a little exposed, but the problem is the composition against against Archons, Lings just really don't cut it. One Immortal has been neural parasited. Good revelation, though, to kill off that Infestor. Another neural parasite goes down, so an Archon is a foe. Will there be another revelation? There it is. So he's being pretty systematic with that. Caninana is down to 90 army supply against 127. Going for the Hail Mary. Psystorms, though, drive the Lings away. And we've got some more Infestors being produced for Caninana. However, there is only 40 drones left. The Natural's gone. The third base is gone. And then, yeah, Caninana is really in a spot of bother right now, as that Protoss force is just cleaning everything out. It is quite a challenge to clean all the bases out as a human player with these bots, the way they just expand and run all over the place. This one Archon is causing problems. The Lings are having a hard time engaging that single Archon, as he does have lots of homies behind him. The Oracle's staying alive most of this game. Meanwhile, Cognite's still on 5 bases, taking that 6. It has been cleaned out. There is no Ling there, so they could eventually expand. Not that they really need to. I believe they probably have this one in the bag. And building up to a big army like this is definitely a way to take down bots. Cognite did have some trouble trying to deal with all those Ling run-bys. However, they managed to hold down the fort, build up this army, and push across the map. And yeah, well done. As we have got Stalkers, the whole death ball moving around. The bases are being cleaned up. I think Caninana is definitely toast in this one. But yeah, what a great human versus bot match. Very cool to see. Very cool for me to cast, because I don't actually know what's going to happen, unlike the games that I play against the bots myself. Although I do still plan on playing against Micro Machine just for the experience at some point. As these Immortals, Archons cleaning everything out. Caninana kills an Observer, but just not able to make it happen. Cognite just got to go through the steps. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watched to the end of this video, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed and you watched to the end, go ahead and subscribe, as we have daily StarCraft 2 on this channel. Leave a comment down below saying more bots. Join the Discord if you want to submit your own replays or get a link to the guide on how to play versus these bots. That is linked in the description. And of course, big thanks to everyone that does support the channel. You can become a YouTube member by using that join button or subscribe button, whatever it is these days. And yeah, big thanks to everyone that does support the channel in that way. Looks like Caninana is going to make its final stand. I'm not even sure if the Lings will actually engage, as it's just a lose-lose fight. So it's a very difficult programming challenge. Like, at some point, you may as well try and take the fight and hope for a miracle, but it's just not going to happen. The last structure, the last assimilator, GG.